Hello, everybody. Welcome to Jersey Boys Sports Talk. And today it is only me and CB. Nick could not join us. CB, what's up?
Not much. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing well. So Nick is busy for this week, so we are doing the show just two of us. Hopefully we can get it together and get through the show in one piece, right?
Yeah, third straight week of just two people. Fortunately, it's been
actually no. Didn't we? Oh no, you were in here, right? Right.
Yeah. Fortunately, it's been two of the three different of us each of the last couple weeks. But hopefully next week we'll finally get the three of us back together.
It's busy here in New Jersey. You just you're always busy.
Something going on.
Yeah, there's always something going on. So anyway, what's this week in sports? There weren't a lot of things that happened, but the things that happened were pretty big deals. Obviously, Derek Jeter, his last game, have a lot of talk about him. A lot of clinching in the MLB in terms of playoffs. We saw the Royals clinch. We saw the Giants clinch. And we also saw a little bit of football this week. Another blowout at Thursday night. It's been like every game's been a blowout pretty much. It's just been bad. And we've had some local stuff go on. We're going to talk about our picks today, go over our picks last week, and really just go over that. It's not going to be a lot today, but we'll get a show through. Don't worry about it. So today we're leading off with the one and only, the captain, Derek Jeter. As you know, me and CB are both Met fans, but we have all the respect for Derek Jeter.
I'm not going to say anything like Keith Olbermann. Don't worry.
Yeah, we're not that cruel. So, as we all know, on Thursday was his last home game ever, as in his career, and Jeter, it was truly unbelievable. I watched most of the game. Jeter, his first at bat, had the double, had a fielder's choice that led to an RBI. And of course had the walk-off hit, ending in the way that Jeter does, and way that Jeter, his last at bat was the way that Jeter plays. It was a classic Jeter hit, opposite field. It was clutch, won the game for the Yankees, and I know he played today, but I feel like he should have ended at that. It was truly unbelievable. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, obviously David Robertson giving up 2 home runs.
I think that blown save was the least cared about blown save of all time. Nobody cared. Everybody realized, oh wait, Jeter's gonna bat now again, so let's give him a shot.
Yeah, my first thought was, I can't believe that David Robertson's blowing Jeter's last game here, and then I'm like, oh wait, Jeter's gonna get up this inning and probably win the game. Just as only Jeter could go out. Obviously, that's how everyone would wanted his last game to be. But I think it just shows to who Jeter is that he continues to go out there for the fans, even if they're Red Sox fans, because he has respect for how much they're throwing out and paying for to go to a baseball game, because it's not cheap. And especially everyone who knew that it was going to be his last game, so the ticket prices were definitely up, and he has respect for that. Obviously, he needed a day off Friday. He was mentally brainwashed. But he went out there today. Only got 2 at-bats because Masahiro Tanaka got hit a little bit in the second inning, to say the least. But he says he's going to be back out there tomorrow for his last game. Probably be another memorable one. Probably won't be able to duplicate the heroics from the other night. But I'm sure it'll be a very watched game and could probably compete with the Sunday night games on the ratings.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll definitely be one. I'll be flicking on and off with the Red Zone on Sunday. Jeter, that last at bat, that can almost be close to a top 10 moment in MLB history. I just remember watching, and I almost could cry right there. I thought it was truly amazing that what happened actually happened. Jeter, one of the greatest players of all time, one of the clutchest players of all time, and just to do that in his last at bat ever at Yankee Stadium, it was really worth the money. And we almost didn't even have that game. As you remember, you probably heard of the weather report. It was supposed to rain. Torrential downpour. I got some of it. I'm a little bit more to the west of Yankee Stadium. Obviously, we're in New Jersey, so we're to the west of New York. But I really didn't get that much rain. I'm not sure about you, CB. And there was no rain at Yankee Stadium. It was a beautiful night.
Yeah, we got rain earlier in the day, as I heard they did at Yankee Stadium as well. But for the game, it was pretty clear by the time that came. And earlier in the week, it didn't look like there was any chance that game was going to get played, which would have been a real shame. And they were talking about the price that game would have cost the Yankees because the resale value on those tickets was incredible. And for the Yankees to have to refund all the fans those games, because that game would not have been made up. Not only would it have been pricey for the Yankees, but it obviously would have been devastating to the fans who paid all that money to go and try and see Derek Jeter for one last time in his career. Probably break some hearts and stuff like that. But obviously, everyone's happy that it didn't turn out like a rainout, and it was a very high-watched game. I know some people in New York were upset that it was the same time as the Giants game. So they had to flip between the two and try and entertain themselves with watching both the games. But not to be forgotten was Jeter's heroics on that night, which has to be one of the top regular season moments of all time with no playoff implications. Because compared to the playoffs, it's hard to say that it's a top moment of baseball history. But with it being such a special moment in regular season history, it's got to be up there in the top 10, as you were saying.
Yeah, definitely. So, number 2, we'll never forget you. No one will ever forget you. But we do have to move on. We're continuing with baseball, though. We're talking about some postseason opportunities for teams. The Royals, a few days ago, clinched the NL Central. Going to make it to the postseason for the first time since 1985. So, I mean, that was even before the last time the Mets won the World Series. Imagine waiting almost 20 years, or almost 30 years, for a postseason appearance. If I was a Royals fan, going through that drought, I would be overjoyed right now if I was a Royals fan. Going to the postseason, and we've noticed this, because the Tigers pretty much had it in the Central, and we thought they had it. I didn't think the Royals had a shot. And really, ever since the David Price trade, they went downhill. And it seems like in a lot of the MLB, the teams that were supposed to benefit from trades actually got worse from trades.
Yeah, there's a tweet out from Darren Rovell earlier today, and he had top salaries of players from when the last time the Royals made the playoffs. And I believe it was something just slightly over $2 million was the highest salary, and George Foster of the Mets was second with right on $2 million. So to show that players are now making upwards of $30 million, and that they were making 1/15 of that when the last time the Royals made the playoffs, just shows how long it's been since they were in the postseason. For a Royals fan, it's certainly something that's been a long time coming. And again, it was, as you said, it didn't really look like this was going to be their year. They made a run at it at the end of last year when George Brett took over as the hitting coach. But towards the start of this year, they did not play well.
I went to a Red Sox game this year, actually, and they played the Royals, and it was, the Royals were god-awful. I forget who was pitching, but he was terrible. They couldn't hit. They couldn't field. It was a terrible outing by them, and they really actually looked like the worst team in baseball for me at that time. I said that. They said, this team looks like the worst team in baseball. Now they proved me wrong, beating the Tigers, who have the 2-time reigning MVP, David Price, who won a Cy Young, Verlander, who won a Cy Young, Max Scherzer, who won a Cy Young. The team that has the 3 of the last Cy Young winners on their roster, and really beat them with ease. The Tigers they just struggled, and it was a big drop, and it hurt them in the postseason. Now they have to fight for that wild card spot, along with the Mariners. Along with the Mariners and the Athletics right now. So, 3 teams are fighting for, only 2 teams can make it, and the Tigers and the Athletics both made trades to improve their teams, but they actually got worse from doing these trades.
The Tigers, they have a 1-game lead right now over the Royals, just trying to hold on for dear life to the all-important division crown, because everyone knows that no one wants to take their luck into a 1-game playoff to try and get into the, quote, real postseason. But it's something that might have to happen for the Tigers. They didn't get what they thought they would get from David Price, at least not yet. But I think he's such a big-time pitcher that he's going to turn it on. And that's who I'm actually going to change my old World Series prediction to, because I originally had the A's. I said everyone on this show.
I'm keeping the A's. I still think they have a shot.
they have a shot if they can turn it around because their pitching's so good. But the problem is going to be their hitting. They just don't have it anymore.
Cespedes, I guess it really hurt him more than we thought. I mean, he certainly was a fan favorite. We know that. But he was batting like 250. But I guess the power and his fielding, his throwing arm, I mean, I guess it really made a bigger impact than people have thought. He could have been a positive influence at the clubhouse. And, getting a guy like John Lester, who we know there probably isn't a good chance that John Lester comes back next year because of the money issue, because Lester's going to want a huge deal. It could have actually influenced the clubhouse a little bit and made, the players not happy with Billy Beane's decision.
Well, it's hard to estimate the power of the protection that Cespedes even gives some of the other players. It's not just the hitting he does in the lineup, but sometimes the players trying to they can now pitch around Josh Donaldson a little more than they might have before because they don't have the big power threat in the 4 spot that they had with Cespedes. While when they had Cespedes there, they used to pitch around. You can't pitch around guys like Josh Donaldson because you make a mistake, it's 2 more runs on the board. And now Lester's given them everything they wanted, but they just haven't been able to keep it up on the offensive end. I still think that they're still probably going to make the playoffs, but if they get Lester game 1 or in the wild card playing game, they still have a very good chance of making it to the divisional round. But it's not going to be as smooth sailing as we once thought. We thought they were clear favorites to win the division. They're going to lose the division by double-digit games. And they're not going to have John Lester to pitch to the start of the 5-game series, and that's going to hurt them. And Sonny Gray's supposed to go tomorrow if they haven't clinched, so they might not even have him to start the series. And they're going to be throwing their 3 and 4 starters out there. Probably Kazmir will pitch the first game, and then maybe Gray or Lester's ready to go game 2 and 3. But it's clearly not lining up how we all thought the A's were going to line up in the postseason after the Lester trade.
Right. It's not even like the Angels got better coming off the August or when they started getting this really good run and passing the A's easily.
Worse. They lost Garrett Richards
exactly.
and Tyler Skaggs.
They got worse. Technically, on paper they got worse because they lost their pitcher who was leading the team in wins. And I don't know, some switch came on. I mean, I know Hamilton was coming back at the time when this whole win streak started. And I'm still shaking my head on this because I really don't know what happened. It's the beautiful game of baseball. I thought the A's they had this no problem, but we're gonna have to wait now to the last day to see if the A's can make it. And I'm gonna quickly look at the MLB standings just to make sure I have an idea of exactly what is going on in terms of our postseason races here. So for the wild card, as of right now, if the season ended today, it is the Royals and the Athletics with the 2 wild card spots. The Mariners are 1 game behind, so the Mariners have to win tomorrow to be in contention. And it looks like, and the Royals clinched postseason. So the A's and the Mariners are fighting for that very, very last spot. And in the NL, we have it all set up as the Cardinals, Dodgers, Nationals, division winners, and the Pirates and the Giants are the 2 wildcard spots. So they will be playing each other. Everyone else is out. The Brewers are out. And the Brewers were another team that just collapsed. They were a team that was in first place in the NL Central all, really the whole season. And coming in September, they kind of just fell apart too. Not as much as the A's, but they still fell apart nonetheless. But the A's still have a chance to make the playoffs. Brewers are eliminated.
Yeah, the Brewers were the surprise team at the start of the year, and everyone always wondered when was this magic run out. And then just as everyone seemed to start believing, it turned around for them. Giovanni Gallardo had a horrible year pitching for them, and he was supposed to be one of the best pitchers alongside Matt Garza there. They just couldn't keep it going. They seem to have like a certain swagger with Carlos Gomez going about them, and it just didn't hold up throughout the whole year. Francisco Rodriguez was lights